property. Okay, so this is our system. Oops. What's happening? Is the password got changed or what? Moment. Thought I'm typing properly. I was busy yesterday. I'll do it today. Okay, so let's go with the material master configurations and complete them now. I think if I remember correctly, what we have done yesterday was we have done with the screen field selection properties, and I think we went up to here basic settings. We have seen the output format for the material numbers, and then we went with make global settings. Did we discuss about this one? Alright, if not, this is nothing but, sometimes for some of the materials, especially the imported ones, you will get a drawing of the material or the component. Let's say if you are importing from a certain vendor, you will get engineering drawing for those components. In case if you want a certain, the document to be associated with the material, we use this one, but otherwise it has no significance. That's the only requirement where engineering drawings etc. can be assigned to the material. And then there is another transaction, that is OMSY, the transaction code which I've already gone through. This is that one, maintain company codes for material management. So here I would have shown you for your company code what is the current year, what is the current month. What's our company code? 777, right? So you could see here for this particular company code, current year is 2012, and you see here period means current month is 5, of course, which is not correct, but until yesterday it is 5. Current year, this year, last month, this is 4. When the current month is 5, obviously the previous month is 4. I told you this, you have to do it immediately after completing the organization structure, but before creating any master data entry, right? So you can do this one. So this we have already discussed it. And then the most important of all these things within the basic settings is material types. Okay, so when you go here, you can define your own material types. I guess Pavitra, yesterday you were asking me, are we going to create our own material types? Correct?
Yes, sir.
Well, right. So we are now going to create our own material type, for which you have to go into material types and then here go with define attributes of material types. Okay, so let me just open this file as usual. Here, now you tell me which material type you wanted to create. Would you want me to create? You want me to create our own raw material or semi-finished material or a finished material, or anything which you feel? Which one would you want me to create?
Create for MRO.
Maintenance, repairs and operations. Okay. Alright, so here we are done with field selections, and then here we are working with basic settings. Okay, so under basic settings, the most important thing is material types. Okay, so under material type, define material types. I would say actually a material type can control, let me put it here, can control we will have lot of things a material type can control. So what am I going to do is, let me just go and create one maintenance, repairs, operations kind of material and explain you all those parameters which our material type can control. So for time being, I'm going to refer ROH, raw material, and I'll go and copy it to create my own material type CMRO. Okay, maintenance, comma, repair and operations. Okay, something like this. Hit enter. Okay, now I'm going to save it. Brinda save changes. Whose changes are this? I don't know who Brinda is. So therefore, I'll go and save all my changes under Nissan changes. Okay, so here I'll be saving them. Now I have my own CMRO, maintenance, repair and operations kind of material. Once you select this and go with details, so here I will have lot many things to explain. Point number one, material type can control field selection properties. Yesterday you have seen a material type can be, a field selections can be controlled by your industry sector, by your plant, even by field reference also, right? So here, if you want, you can create your own field reference. I think yesterday I have created some field reference as 777, right? That is for the, not 777. What is that? I have created field reference for the industry sector. You're right. Okay. Similarly, for the material type also, I can create my own field reference, which I can use it here. Or if you have that field reference which you have created yesterday, you can very well use it here. You see here, So, a material type can control field selection properties via field reference. Okay, it can control field selection properties via field reference, I would say, assigned to it. Okay, point number two. You see here there is something called external number assignment without check. Okay, there is external number assignment without check. Somebody there, why is it not getting copied? Why and what is this control? You see here MM01, while I am creating material master, I can enter alphabets or I can enter numerics, I can enter something, everything I can enter here. Even then, when I go with this, let's say maintenance and repair operations, now you will have it here because I have, oh sorry, industry sector, right? What is the industry sector that we have created? Manufacturing. Material type, maintenance, repairs and operations. You could see here. When I go and enter it here, now you see this material number is being taken. How is it taking? Because of this check here. External number assignment without check. Whatever the number that I am entering here, that is called as external number assignment without check. You need not have to validate this number. Is it following a proper template, or is it the number is within the number range limits, etc., etc. You need not have to check it. That's what this particular check is meant for. Okay, so you can say assignment of external number without check, right? Next point, you see here there is something called explained material status. What do you mean by explained material status? We have already discussed about explained material status. Look at this. I told you this explained material status, if entered here, it is applicable for all the plants in which the material is defined. Explained can also be called as cross plant, means the information that you maintain in this particular field, right? So this can be applicable for all the plants in which this material is going to define. So your material type can make an explained material status default. Okay, it means, let's say here, if I add something over here, block for purchasing, assume it I'm saving, right? Now you see, I go with create material /n mm01, okay, hit enter, go with basic data 1 and 2. Now you see here BP has come here. Why? Because of the material type. What material type you have created? You are using MRO. For this MRO, explained material status is defaulted, isn't it? So therefore you can say defaults explained material status in the material creation or while creating while creating material master. Next, you see here there is something called item category group. There are different item category groups which we use it in especially sales and distribution module. We will use item category group BANS for the special procurement scenario where certain material needs to be procured from somebody else and delivered it to someone else. That is called special procurement, third party sales order processing. So similarly, what you can default an item category group. Okay, so here this will also defaults item category group into the material creation. If enter, if you maintain some value over here, okay, if you maintain some value over here, that will automatically come and added over here. You see here there are lots of item category groups. So all these item category groups, based on whatever you wanted to choose, for example DIEN, and just say enter, save, right? Now if you see here /n mm01, enter, go with basic data 1 2, you see here general item category group DIEN, explained material is BP. So you can default those things, right? Next one. Oh, I think I've lost my SPRO screen /n SPRO. Just give me a moment. F5 logistics general. Under basic settings, material type, define attributes of material type. Okay, your CMRO, right? So here go with details, right? Now look at here. There is something called special material types. We will discuss this once again in the special procurement. There are, based on the item type or what we call it as item category, you can have some special procurement materials like consignment item, subcontracting item, stock transport item, pipeline item, manufacturer part, isn't it? Okay, so configurable item, etc., etc. So your material type will specify whether it belongs to any special material type or not. Okay, so this one material type also specifies defines special material type if required, you can say. Right, next one, you see here there is something called user departments. What does it mean by that? When you go with /n mm01 and say hit enter, you see here these are the views that you have configured. Which view you wanted it to be selected automatically, that you can control. It means who are all the user departments which are going to use this particular material type, maintenance, repairs and operations, which you can control it here. Look at here. You can simply go and choose some of the views that you wanted to have. Let's say I don't want sales views, I don't want warehouse view, I don't want this view. Okay. Enter. Close this. Right. So this will tell you what are all the user departments which are going to use this particular material type. You can say list of user departments, which can use the materials belongs to a certain material type. Okay, then it also defines, there is something called procurement type. Defines proc type, or what we call as procurement type, external / internal. How? You see here, maintenance, repairs and operations. These kind of materials, do you purchase or do you manufacture it? Right? So based on that, the procurement type indicator will be defaulted automatically into your MRP2 view. Okay? So you can say it defines procurement type indicator in the MRP2 view. Right? So you see here this maintenance and repairs operations, etc. kind of materials. Normally we procure it from outside, right? You don't manufacture these items. So therefore, because you procure it from outside, external purchase orders allowed. 2 stands for allowed, 1 stands for allowed with warning, and 0 stands for not allowed. Okay? So therefore here, because this is an external procured material, you need to allow external purchase orders. Similarly, internal purchase order. Like I said, this is material to be procured external. There is no question of internal purchasing, so therefore you can set it as 0. Right? Next thing, there is something called classification. We will discuss more about classification when we go with the the classification and batch management chapter. Basically, classification is nothing but organizing a certain object data in a proper fashion so that it will be easy for the use. You can easily search for a suitable item, certain or suitable item, or if no suitable items found, the system will tell you no suitable items exist. Okay, so in case if you want it, I can define or I can make a certain class type and class as default. So here it can control to which class and class type that the material can be, which class or class type that the material can be say can be put into, you can say, right? Then there is something called price control indicator. You see here, price control indicator. When you go and create a material master, you see here, if I go and create a material master, something like this, I select it, right? When I go and select it like this, I enter something over here, something here, something here. Let me keep moving. Okay, something like this. When you are in the accounting view, you see here price control V or price control S. There are two types of price controls possible. Which price control needs to be defaulted? Okay, so therefore controls which price control needs to be defaulted in the accounting view. Okay, and it can also specify whether price is mandatory or not. Okay, now you see here, if I want, I can simply, let's say it is there, without giving price also I can move out. Let's say, you see here, valuation class I'm giving. Am I giving price? You see here, without price also I can come out of it. So therefore I can specify using my what we call the price control indicator. I can specify which price control indicator to be defaulted and whether the price is mandatory or not. And this check will control that, right? And then you see here, while creating material master, okay, you see there are certain valuation classes which are appearing here. All these valuation classes are dependent on something called account category reference, which in turn is dependent on material type. Okay, so I would say, see here, this is the one, because this is the one which is controlling your what you call valuation classes. So if I have to say, it controls which valuation classes per material type. Okay, based on what we call as account category reference, right? So this is one thing which it can control. And then there is something called quantity update and value update. Okay, it controls quantity / value update per valuation area. What is valuation area? Can somebody tell me what is valuation area? Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Venkat, we can hear you. The valuation is the how you are going to evaluate this material. So that is the purpose of depending upon your plant or
Exactly. Whether am I going to evaluate my material at plant level or at company code level, that is what we call as valuation area. So your material type can control quantity update to be done for a quantity of stock material, value update to be done for a value material. So that will also be controlled by your material type here. Okay. So now you see here for this material, GMRO, quantity update by valuation area, value update also by valuation area. It means what? For your plant 777C, look at here 777C, that's okay, 777C. For both of these two plants, if you check this indicator, it means it's big. The material created with reference to GMRO material type becomes a stock material, and whatever you do on the stock of material, they will get reflected in the stock positions. Similarly, if you check this indicator, that means whether you're buying, receiving, or selling, or issuing, etc., whatever you do, they all get updated in the GL accounts. So therefore, the primary purpose of this value update and quantity update is this one. Okay. Now, I guess these are the 11 important parameters which your material type can control. Okay. So now, what I'll do is I'll just go and quickly try to create a new material. Look at here, /n mm01 mm01 manufacturing industry, material type is maintenance, repairs and operations. If you go with it, basic data 1, 2, purchasing, general plan data, accounting, if you go with it, now you see here whatever the number that system fixed internally, you can choose that one. Okay, so let's say I'll simply go with piston ring. Okay, unit of measure as each. I would go with the engine space or engine simply. Okay, now you see explain material status because I made it as a default. So therefore, look at here, explain material is default. Okay, where is this? It's here default, so that's the reason BP has come. And similarly, item category group is 9, so therefore these two have come. If you don't want it, you can remove it like this. Enter. Okay, purchasing group. We are yet to create a purchasing group. We will do it as and when it comes. Okay, so let me just go and maintain these entries. Now you see here valuation class. Let's say this one. Price control. Let's say 120 rupees. Okay, so this is how, this is very important. Sorry, let me remove these two things. Remember, this is a Shootsrat question, and you may have to define a couple of your own material types for the implementation projects. So therefore, you should remember each of all these things because, like I said, you may have to create couple, at least 1, 2 material types additionally for any new project according to the customer requirements. Okay, so now
Venkat, typically which material type is taken as a reference for
ROH.
creating
I've
only raw
taken as
material?
ROH and then created maintenance, repairs and operations, MRO kind of machine.
No, that's one you have done just now. But typical material type which is taken as a reference to create another
Mostly
material type.
ROH, semi-finished and finished also.
Okay, so halb or
Yeah, FERT or ROH.
okay.
For example, we at Thomson Reuters, when we implemented SAP, Thomson Reuters procured a lot of technology from Microsoft, from so many people, right? So we have to have something called technological materials, which is not a standard one. So what we did was we have created our own material type as ZTech, stands for technological materials, and which we have referred ROH and then made modifications according to our requirement.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Yeah, and typically it depends upon the requirement also, correct? Because
Correct. You have to check it and let's say which material when that your customer is asking, is it a stock material or is it a non-stock material, exactly what, and then you have to see it. Only then you refer the standard one which is available. Even at Rekuna Koda, you just go and do it like this with new entries, create chairs. Okay, it's asking copying an existing. Yeah, but even new entries could create chairs, but here the system is not allowing. ఐడియల్గా కాపీ చేస్తే ఏమవుతుందంటే సార్ మీకు వాట్ ఎవర్ ది ప్రీ కాన్ఫిగరేషన్స్ దట్ ఆర్ అవైలబుల్ ఫర్ దాట్ మెటీరియల్ విల్ గెట్ డిఫాల్టెడ్. Okay, now let me, is it understood and okay with everybody? This is very important. Define attributes of material types. Okay, after that you need to understand some of the most frequently used material types, which I will tell you right now. If you look at from top, let's say I'll give you an example and I'll tell you the ones. Coupons. Now you see each and every company nowadays they are offering Solex coupons or food coupons, something like that as part of your salary. Okay, which is again in the non-taxable format. So if the company is offering any coupons to you, you can use this material type, coupons as coupons. Right? Then there is something called DAEM. This is services, which we use it when we work with external service management. Then there is something called spare parts. Okay, engine spares. You have got something called engine spares. See, as long as possible, you try to use the same objects, I would say standard objects given by SAP. So when you have ETSA, which is spare parts, you need not have to create a new spare parts material type. Similarly, FERT, finished goods, means all those products which your company manufactures, they are called finished goods. Their properties behave, or the materials belongs to the finished goods will have its own characteristics. And then you have something called food, exclusive perishable items. Some of the companies they offer food also, so you can use that food material type. Halb is semi-finished. Hawaii is trading goods, like what the trader will do. With one hand he will buy it for a cheaper price, and with other hand he will sell it for a better price. Right? So that kind of materials are called trading materials. And then you have something called manufacturer parts. which is being referred as HERS. And then there is something called Hive operating supplies. Means while operating a certain machine, this material is assumed to be consumed. They are called operating supplies, like electrodes, welding electrodes is operating supply. And then you have something called KMAT, configurable material. What do you mean by configurable material? For example, anything which is not standard, you have to configure it. Let's say, let me choose some example. Silver metallic gray color, say Honda Civic car. But do you really have a silver gray color as a standard color? You don't have it. So you need to mix right combinations of material A, material B, material C in order to get the proper configurations or the proper propositions of that material. Such materials are called KMAT, configurable materials. Okay, and then you have something called LGUT, empties. You know what is LGUT? The soft drinks that we drink. After that, we give back the soft drink bottle to the shop guy. That shop guy in turn will return the same empty bottle to the company. Such empty bottles means after the liquid is consumed, whatever the bottle that you see, that is of type or belongs to empties, LGUTs. Okay? Then you have something called NLAG, non-stock material. A non-stock material is a one which is assumed to be consumed immediately upon usage. What does it mean? The material that you bring in, you don't keep it in stock. Rather, you consume it. For example, power. Okay, electricity. What you do, once you have the power available, okay, whenever you want it, you can switch it off, switch it on. So this is called non-stock material. You don't keep the material in stock, but rather you can use it, and upon receiving of the material, it is assumed to be consumed. Another example is something like fuel or the liquids, what we call lubricating oil. Normally in the industries, or rather, let me take this example. For a city like Hyderabad or a state like AP, where there is a lot of power cut. So if somebody wanted to not to have the power cut, what you should do as an alternative, you should go and buy one power generation unit, maybe diesel engine or something like that, and then again to run diesel power plant, you require diesel engine. You require diesel. So you procure diesel, say for 20 liters or 10 liters depending upon your requirement, and then you simply dump it into the engine rather than keeping in stock. Such materials where upon receipt of the material, the stock will not get updated, but the value gets updated. Such materials are called non-stock material. There is also a non-valuated material which is also called as low-value materials, especially those items whose value is almost zero. It's not zero, but almost zero. For example, safety pin. For each 5 paise or maybe 10 paise, you will get one safety pin. What is the cost of that 10 paise? Very less. So such materials whose value is very, very low, those materials are called technically non-valuated materials. Okay, so such materials are called non-valuated materials, which you could see it as UNVW. Okay, apart from that, you already know raw material. Raw material is one which is received from the external sources and suppliers. Okay, so that's how you will be working with various material types. I think Radhika got joined right now. Hi Radhika. Okay, So any questions on material type? Well, if you don't have, now you see,
Oh, sir,
yeah, tell me.
sir, what is the difference between material type and material group?
Material type and material group. You see, material group is from the usage perspective. Okay, you group various materials. For example, piston ring, connecting rod ring, like various elements of an engine. You group them as engine spare parts. That's your material group. That is from the usage perspective. Whereas from the technical or from the maintenance or from the technical perspective, you group some more materials based on the features of the materials. Such materials are called such uh, grouping is called as material type. For example, let me tell you, um, let's take one construction company, or assume it you construct a home. You see sand, bricks, cement, all these things you will be considering as raw material. Why? Because they all have similar features. Similar features means what? From the technical perspective, you need to procure them from outside. Okay, and oh my god, I've lost the power. Can you guys hear me? Pavitra, sorry, మా ఇంట్లో పవర్ పోయింది. Yeah, can you please inform them? చూద్దాం, ఒక 10-15 minutes లో వస్తే ఐ విల్ కంటిన్యూ ఇట్. ఒక 15 minutes లో కనుక రాకపోతే we will have the session tomorrow. ఆ విషయం చెప్పండి వాళ్ళకి కొంచెం. థ్యాంక్ యూ. సార్, మా ఇంట్లో పవర్ పోయింది. అది ఒకసారి అమ్మాయికి చెప్పాను, అట్లా పవర్ పోయిందంటే ఒక 10-15 minutes వెయిట్ చేద్దాము, వస్తే కంటిన్యూ చేస్తాను క్లాసు. లేకపోతే నెక్స్ట్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ ఐ విల్ సీ టుమారో at 10 a.m. ఓకే సార్.
Okay.